So one of the craziest challenges that Konoha has ever encountered is about to commence. Just in case you weren't hype enough for next chapter, by the end of this video you're not going to want to wait to see what's to come, as I'm about to explain why Two Blue Vortex is about to enter its prime. So right here, right now, if you haven't read chapter 28 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex and don't want to be spoiled as of what's to come, go ahead and click off the video and go read that. But of course, if you don't mind, then stick around. So in the latest chapter, Inojin finally mastered his new jutsu. This jutsu was supposed to be the difference in making this operation go smoothly or horrible. Throughout the past 2 to 3 chapters, Kashinkoji has been preparing the future for this moment. Whether that be recruiting Inojin to become a singularity of fate, having him learn a new jutsu to avoid certain disastrous futures, explaining Mamushi's abilities to Shikamaru, or helping him keep his standing as Hokage. It was all to prepare for this operation right here. And of course Boruto has made his preparation too, which I'm not gonna dive into in this video specifically. That'll be for another time. As a matter of fact, if you all would want to see that video, go ahead and get this video to 300 likes. We can make that happen for sure. Because Boruto, for better or for worse, has been really trying to prepare himself for what's to come. And judging off what happened at the end of this chapter, we're in for a treat. So the operation is simple. Defeat Mamushi while remaining in Konoha, and keep him and all of his clones far away from Eida as possible. So to explain the mission, I guess I gotta explain Inojin's new jutsu called the Mind Transmission Formation, which is basically a technique that utilizes vibration to tell Inojin information. So first, Inojin connects everyone to a line. As Shikamaru stated, the amount of people who he can connect to this line is limited, but the people that are connected are used as a receiver. They're used to sense the vibration of different objects around their vicinity. Every object gives off its own vibration with a unique wave frequency. So their goal is to identify Mamushi's wave frequency using this technique, and then that'll tell them where each of his clones are so they can confront and capture them. The receivers don't directly get this information. The information is given to Inojin, and since Shikamaru can see it as well, they both will be able to give out information to every party as needed. So if there's a clone near Chocho and Himawari, they won't know at first. It's Shikamaru and Inojin's job to equip them with that information. Mamushi has an ability called Division. It allows him to split his body into nearly an unlimited amount of clones. And all these clones have the same physical abilities as the original. There's absolutely no drop off. But of course, the more clones he makes, the more intelligence he loses. So from this knowledge, Koji suggests allowing him to create more clones to make the fight easier. The goal is to have around 20 to 30 clones in the village. At that point, it'll feel like you're dealing with wild animals. This is very important. You have to allow him to clone himself. The more the better. This will actually allow you to capture them easier too. So in this operation, they use the word capture instead of kill. And this is the official translations too. The reason they say capture is so you can gather them up and kill them all in one shot. Now there's a specific person who probably will be assigned to this task, but first I need to explain the parties that's going to cooperate in this mission, which is going to be everyone that Inojin connected to this line. And of course everyone is going to have their own role to fulfill. Not everyone is going to be fighting. Maybe some will be intel gathering or another set of eyes, something like that. And because Boruto will be a key player in this operation, Shikamaru had to gather people that at least don't want to kill Boruto. The people he's chosen are of the following: Sarada and Sumire, who of course aren't affected at all by omnipotence; Eida, who is being targeted by Mamushi; Damon, who will play as the last line of defense for Eida; Chocho and Himawari, who will probably both move as a unit and patrol a specific part of Konoha; Shikadai, who just agreed to participate in the operation because of the participation of the rest of his team members and Himawari. Then we have Konohamaru, who just finished getting interrogated and also had a pretty prominent role in the mission back in Sunagakure. We have Mitsuki, who no longer wants to kill Boruto because of their confrontation back in chapter 7. We have Delta, who hasn't even fought yet in Two Blue Vortex, but she's another body, so why not? Then we can't forget Amato and Kawaki. So here's the deal. Team 10 is gonna cover Sector D East. Team 7 will stand by in Sector B North. So that's Sarada, Mitsuki, and I suppose Konohamaru. But for now, it'll just be Sarada and Konohamaru because Mitsuki is still getting interrogated. While he's trapped, he can't support his team. So for the moment, he's gonna be out of the fight. Boruto is gonna travel to each spot using the flying Raijin technique, and Kawaki will provide support as needed. And finally, everyone must be ready to drop everything they're doing and go to Sector A East at a moment's notice where Eida is located. So that's pretty much it. While Boruto is flying around from area to area, Kawaki will support those who Boruto can't. And the reason for this is because Boruto and Kawaki are your hardest hitters. You don't want to limit them to one section. The more they move around, the easier it will be for everyone else. And Boruto can use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, so maybe he covers 2 sectors at a time. So yeah, not only can Boruto and Kawaki fly, but like I just said, Boruto can use FTG and Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's easy. So that's why these two are your biggest trump cards. You don't want to even have Damon fight, because if he does, that means they didn't do a good enough job taking care of the Mamushi clones around Konoha. So before, I stated that Shikamaru said to capture the clones, don't kill them. And that's because they need to all be dealt with simultaneously, or else it will be too difficult to deal with all of them. Because for example, if he's at 30 clones and someone like Kawaki just kills 20 of them in one shot, the number of clones decrease, so Mamushi regains his intelligence, and then he gets stronger, of course. So the remaining clones will probably be harder to deal with. And then you run the risk of Mamushi discovering your plan. So this is where Sarada actually comes in. I think she's gonna have the most important role right here. When Koji first explained this ability, I was for certain that Himawari would probably have this role because she has Biju bombs. Just fire one at all of them and they're dead, right? But remember what Koji said, it's really important to destroy Mamushi in Konoha, because as soon as they exit Konoha, they run the risk of Jura getting involved, especially if Himawari has to leave Konoha to destroy the clones. So to ensure that they defeat all the clones in Konoha, and at the same time at that, Sarada is probably gonna have to be the one to do it. Of course, a lot of people have attacks that can destroy a Mamushi clone in one shot, like Delta's lasers, which targets regeneration power, or Kawaki Sukunahi Koneki, which can crush all of them. But it's nothing like Sarada's Ohirume, which literally destroys the body of multiple of the clones at the same time. And remember, we look back at the official Boruto databook, Sarada can make one of these spears 250 centimeters in diameter, which is like 8 feet. So she's capable of doing this. And I think Ohirume will cause the least amount of destruction just because of the gravitational aspect of the technique and being able to destroy these clones while airborne. So at the end, after all of the clones are captured, I'm sure Sarada is going to have to deal the final blow if they make it that far into the operation without something going terribly wrong. So now we have to look at Boruto, Kawaki, Konohamaru, Delta, and Himawari. These characters are your hard hitters, but for right now we'll call them dividers. Actually, Konohamaru is a little more than a divider because with his Rasen barrier technique, he can be a defender as well. So it's like their job is to apply enough pressure for Mamushi to reach 20 to 30 clones. As we can see, during Boruto and Mamushi's scuffle towards the end of the chapter, Boruto sliced one of the clones and killed it. And immediately after, the one behind him divided into 3 more clones. So the more you defeat, the more clones he produces. I'd say Mamushi probably won't clone more than 10 times for 1 or 2 enemies. But remember, there's gonna be clones planted near each sector in Konoha. So, let's say Mamushi started out with 5 clones like the end of chapter 7 suggests. This is how many clones he came to Konoha already made. Each one of these clones are probably at different locations spread around Konoha. Boruto already killed one, so now that leaves 4 other clones around Konoha that could also create new clones. So the one Boruto started fighting after killing this clone made 3 other clones. That's a total of 7 clones now in Konoha, because of the other 3 somewhere hidden around the village. So Boruto already done his job of successfully making Mamushi clone himself. Now what if the other dividers like Himawari, Kawaki, Konohamaru, and Delta do the same? That's why everyone is put in parties, to divide the workload. If Team 7 can force Mamushi to clone himself just like Boruto did, then that's 8 clones right there. Let's say if Kawaki and Delta's party makes Mamushi split about 7 times. Of course, because Delta and Kawaki would require that many clones in order to contend with them, because they're just stronger than Team 7. So 8 plus 7, that's 15 clones. And let's say we get another 5 clones from Chocho and Himawari's party, that's 20. At this point, it's easier for everyone to fight against these clones because they've already lost a considerable amount of intelligence. Now, it's time for the most important characters to step in. We call these people the capture crew, alright? Let's just call them that. These characters have the responsibility of gathering all these clones up for them to be destroyed simultaneously. And I feel these characters are going to be Chocho, Mitsuki, and Shikadai. They have the ability to hold on to multiple clones at the same time without killing them. Chocho has super expansion jutsu, which we've seen allows the user to be able to hold on to dozens of people at the same time. Mitsuki can do the same, although not as much, with his snakes. And then Shikadai, of course, with his shadow possession jutsu that allows him to hold multiple clones at the same spot. With everyone working together, it's gonna look much neater in the process. Perhaps Shikadai could help Chocho gather up all these clones by incapacitating them first with shadow possession, or maybe Sarada could activate Oharume to make the clones float so they could be captured easier as well too. But first, it's important that they divide to about 20 clones because that'll drop their intelligence enough for them to be able to be captured in the first place. Gotta be strategic here. I would say Kawaki can capture as well. Actually, he would be one of the best characters to capture because of the Daikokuten ability. He can freeze each clone in another dimension and take them out at will. But I don't know if that's the best idea because as we all remember, Naruto is in this dimension. So what are the odds that Jura finds out Naruto's location because he's able to see through Mamushi's Rinnegan? That's a risk you don't want to run. So that's why I say that's probably not the best idea. Even if Jura can't get to Naruto, you don't want him to even find out where he is. It's Jura, so you never know what he can do or what he's gonna plan if that's the case. That option only does more harm than good, so that's not such a good idea. But besides that, that's everyone's role, at least everyone that's fighting. Now of course you have Damon, but if I'm Shikamaru, I want Damon as close to Eida as possible. As of right now, Damon hasn't shown any ability other than close-up combat, so he's not good for anything but physically destroying the clones, which of course won't defeat Mamushi. It probably won't do anything, but it'll buy time, especially time for backup to arrive. So he can be the last line of defense. I like him in that role, and I'm certain that as long as he's in that role, none of the clones will touch Eida. But of course he can't fight forever, especially with stamina as a factor. So he can buy time for backup like Kawaki or Boruto to support and push them even further back. The last characters involved in this operation is Sumire and Amato, who are the non-fighters. They'll be able to observe the battle and gather data on the shinju, potential weaknesses, ways to exploit them, etc. There's not much they can do directly, but they're also good to have involved in the operation because they already are familiar with the shinju's existence, so they could add some value just off that fact alone. But anyway, as you all can see by now, we're gonna be seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of fights and action coming our way. There's many different scenarios that could manifest itself because of everything that's about to happen. The story is about to enter one of its craziest arcs, and now that you watched this video, you understand why. So let me know, out of every fight I just talked about, let me know what characters you're most excited to see in action. Team 10, Kawaki and Delta, Boruto with his karma, Sarada and the rest of Team 7, Damon? Let me know all that in the comment section below. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, show some love by liking the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you know whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.